Welcome, everyone. My name is John Holt. I am the CEO here at Nutmeg State Financial Credit Union. I wanted to thank the CBIA and everyone for being here today. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself first, and then a little bit about Nutmeg before we introduce our speaker today. Again, my name is John Holt. I've been at Nutmeg for 15 years. And prior to that, I worked at a credit union in Miami, and prior to that, a bank in upstate New York. A little bit about Nutmeg State Financial Credit Union. We are a not-for-profit financial cooperative. A little bit of difference between a bank and a credit union. We're a not-for-profit organization, so any of the profits that we make goes back to our membership, which in the banking world are typically called customers, and we return our profits in the form of higher rates on deposit accounts, lower rates on loans, and little to no fees. Nutmeg is focused on smarter, more inclusive banking, combining digital innovation with community impact. We're about 726 million in assets. We have 8 branches. And in 2026, we'll be celebrating our 90th year in business. And for what it's worth, we started out as Hartford Telephone Federal Credit Union way back when, and converted to the name Nutmeg State Financial Credit Union as Hartford Telephone merged with AT&T, and ultimately AT&T pretty much left the state of Connecticut. Beyond banking, we see ourselves as a partner in building stronger local economies, whether it's helping your employees and ours achieve financial stability through financial education, or special product offerings to build generational wealth through our business partnerships, or supporting small business lending. And something special is what we do as a credit union is we offer a full suite of business deposit products and loan products. And we're one of the only credit unions, if not the only credit union in the state of Connecticut that does business lending. And our program is more aligned to, again, the smaller business, but we're proud of what we do. We have a full suite, again, of products and services for businesses, including a lot of those ancillary services that you might want to do: payroll, ACH, wire transfers, and so on and so forth. I'm pretty excited today to introduce the EOS topic to all of you, a solution that is essential to both business success and resilience. And believe it or not, here at Nutmeg, we've witnessed firsthand the success of EOS after we launched it in 2022. We strategically utilize EOS daily to navigate challenges and seize opportunities that drive revenue and enhance performance. Our featured speaker, Ralph Riccio, is a certified EOS implementer and Outgrow advisor who helps entrepreneurial businesses run better and accelerate growth. For more than 3 years, Ralph has guided leadership teams in industries ranging from home builders, remodelers, and commercial construction to the WNBA basketball, national franchises, and the financial advisory firms, dairy farming, and other building trades. As an EOS implementer, he equips leaders with tools that help them clarify their vision while driving discipline and accountability at all levels of the organization. Through his work as an Outgrow advisor, Ralph teaches organizations how to increase their revenue 15 to 30%, year over year through proactive relationship-based habits. Together, these frameworks give Ralph's clients both operational transaction and predictable top-line revenue growth. Today, Ralph will focus specifically on revenue growth for you. Entrepreneurship is personal for Ralph. He grew up watching his father and uncle run a retail store for 35 plus years. He has led leadership teams and organizations of all types and sizes with accountability for revenue north of 200 million annually. and he has personally lived the ups and downs of starting and running his own businesses, which led to him running out of money at least one time. Discovering EOS and Outgrow, using the tools he teaches his clients, Ralph gave Ralph exactly what he needed to accelerate and build his business. In fact, his 2025 revenue has increased 25% over 2024, and the forecast right now for 2026 is more than 35%. Wow, again. All thanks to the Outgrow concepts that you're about to learn and hear more of. At his core, Ralph believes that better run businesses build stronger communities, and stronger communities create a kinder world. And that is why he is so passionate about helping businesses, leaders like all of you today. Please join me in welcoming Ralph as our featured speaker today.
Thanks, John. I really appreciate it. It's great to be here with you all today. It's a little bit weird to have kind of a quiet room. I don't get to see anybody, but I want to make this as interactive as possible. John, I really appreciate you to jumping in here and sponsoring today, and really appreciate the CBIA. What the two of you, these organizations do in the community is really absolutely incredible. Today we're going to try and use the chat if you have any questions or anything you want to know or call out. We're monitoring the chat, going to use that. There may be an opportunity where we look to unmute a mic or two if somebody wants to ask a question. I'm going to share a whole lot of information with you today about Outgrow. Outgrow was founded by a guy by the name of Alex Goldfayn. Alex is a consultant in the sales space. He's been running Outgrow with over 400 clients for over 22 years. He's also the author of 7 different books. 3 of those were Wall Street Journal bestsellers. And Outgrow launched as the #2 business book in the country behind Atomic Habits. Everything you need to know that I'm going to walk you through today is in this book, Outgrow, as well as in several of others, Alex's books. Outgrow is the roadmap to help you implement this proven system into your business that will help you generate revenue, increase your revenue 15 to 30% year over year. So he has written these books here. Pick Up the Phone and Sell is really an incredible book to help you understand what are the scripts, how do I communicate with my customers and clients, and Outgrow is the roadmap to help you implement that into your business. And so this is what I'm going to talk to you about today, is a little bit of combination of these 2 books for you to help you understand what is it that you need to do to help change the culture of your business. And so what is Outgrow? Outgrow instills the mindsets in your business that can create 15 to 30% predictable growth. It's predictable sales growth that you can plan around in your business, that you can look at and say, if we're doing the right things in our business, we're taking the right actions, we can plan around this growth. The thing is that we recognize in our business is that there's a couple of things that we know that are truthful already. The first is, I just had this conversation about an hour ago with somebody, is they say, we know what to do. Each and every one of you that are on this call today, you know what to do in your business. You know that there's right things to do in your business. We've just got to get you doing those things. You know that there's things out there that you should be doing, but why don't we do them? And when I say that there's some truths, there's 3 simple truths in sales that we know. When we want to increase our revenue, there's 3 things that we know instinctively all of the time. Number 1, we know that phone calls are more effective than emails. What we do every single day is we sit at our laptop and we answer emails and we respond to questions that we have from our customers and clients via email. But what we truly know is if we sit back and really think about it, picking up the phone and having a conversation with somebody is far more effective than an email. When we put something down in an email, we send it out to somebody, we oftentimes are volunteering ourselves to the trash bin. And we've got to make sure that we are picking up the phone and calling. If you remember the slide, a couple slides ago, one of Alex's books was Pick Up the Phone and Sell. It's that simple. Phone calls are far more effective than emails. And what I want to help today is help you understand how is it that we can overcome the reasons that we're not picking up that phone and calling, your teams aren't picking up the phone. The second truth that we know is that referrals are the absolute best way to get new business. When I talk with people, business owners and business leaders today, so many of them say, well, we need marketing and we've got to create the engine that's going to fill the sales funnel for us. And that's absolutely true. You have to continue to market your business, and you do have to get people in the funnel. What we're talking about today is ensuring that the people that you have in the funnel, both your current customers, prospects, and clients, that you're picking up the phone and you're communicating with them. Absolutely have to keep that engine going. But what I know to be true and factual from the work that Alex has done, from the work that we do, that we Outgrow advisors do, is that if you're pick up the phone and call your current customers and clients, you will sell more. And in fact, the third truth is you cannot communicate more and sell less. It's nearly impossible to communicate more with your customers and your clients and sell less. And so we've got to make sure that you're doing that, and we've got to pick up the phone and call. Now, I want to ask a question, and if you can answer this in the chat, I want to ask a question. Why is it, do you think, that people rely on their email versus picking up the phone and calling? I want to see get a couple people in the chat with an answer. It's easier, okay, in fear. Amber, tell me more about fear. Fear. Yeah, I love this. It's fear. Thank you, Paul, right? So it is absolutely fear of rejection, right? So we know what to do, and we are fearful because people do not answer their phone, right? So people don't answer the phone, so it's easier to send them an email. It takes less time. It's comfortable and it's easy. It's difficult to obtain a number to the right person. We don't have the phone numbers all the time. It allows time for somebody to consider answers. That's great, Matt, right? But at the end of the day, the biggest thing that underlies all of those things, people don't answer the phone, we're afraid of things, it's less intimidating, like Diane said, is we are fearful. We're fearful that we are going to get rejected. We're fearful that when we pick up the phone and call and talk to somebody, that they're going to say no to us. But the glorious thing about sales is that we know that no is just one step closer to a yes. And so we've got to figure out, how do we overcome that fear of that rejection and do something different, right? And so I've got somebody here that says, I've had people avoid the phone and customers will respond to calls with emails. They're responding, though. That's the optimistic thing, is that they're responding. And so we've got to realize that sales is a rejection profession. You get rejected all of the time in sales. It is the nature of the beast. It's what we have to do. I love rejection. It's a little twisted, but I absolutely love rejection. And if you think about why we are fearful, why we're afraid of that rejection, when we think about our customers and our incoming phone calls, right? We get an incoming customer problem. There's an urgency. Something's wrong with the customer. And so what do? We solve their problem for them. So the phone rang, I answered the phone, I solved their problem, I could take a big sigh of relief, and I think to myself, I'm not going to call somebody else because somebody else is going to tell me that something's wrong, and I don't want to have to deal with that customer urgency or problem. And so my phone rings again. Then when my phone rings again, there's another urgency, there's another issue, there's another problem. There's something else that I have to do, right? And I got to deal with that. So I go deal with that and I solve the problem. Can anybody in the chat tell me, what percentage of your customers do you think you're communicating with when this happens? Drop that in there if you know, if you have an idea. 10%? Yeah, you're about right. It's anywhere from 10 to 20% of your customers that you're communicating with when we sit back and we wait for the phone to ring. We're only talking to 10 to 20% of the customers. You're right there, both of you, right? And so what we know is that there's 80 to 90% of your quiet customers that are happy with you, and they're not calling you when nothing's wrong. You don't hear from them much because they're happy, and we think when they need us, when they need to order something new, they're going to call us and tell us that. Or when there's something wrong, when they have this problem, this urgency, something's not working, the delivery was wrong, they're going to call and they're going to let us know that. And so we wait for them to call, but there's 80 to 90% of the customers that are quiet and happy. And I want you to go talk to the 80 to 90% of the customers that are happy. When we do this work with our Outgrow clients, we do that for you. We go and we talk as an Outgrow advisor. I go and I talk to 5 of your happiest customers. I say, give me 5 of your happiest customers. And so these are the kinds of things that they say. This is a distributor customer, right? This is customer feedback from a distributor. My number one supplier out of all the ones I've ever worked with. Working with them helps us make our customer feel important. Time is money and they make me money. They're a phone call away 7 days a week. They're fun. They're fun people to work with. They're easy to work with. We have a trust factor together and we look out for each other. This is what your customers, your clients are saying about you today, but you don't know it because we're not communicating with them regularly. We're saving our space and time for 10 to 20% of those that are having challenges, that are calling us as we wait to take their orders and we wait for them to call us and tell us when there's an issue and a problem. And so I want to start to shift the mindset for you here and start to think differently. This is a service-based company with some customer feedback from them. They save me time. They create peace of mind. They're like family. Imagine if you get every one of your customers and clients to think of you as a great partner who is like family with such a strong relationship, right? They stand above their competitors. They make my job easier. When you start to do this with your salespeople in the organization, with all of your client-facing staff, getting them to change their mindset, getting them to trust your customers because they know how good you are, you start to change the mindset in your business. And what we say at Outgrow all the time is that your behavior follows mindset. We want you to be aware of your great value, the great value of your entire team of people, and we want you to start to behave boldly and accordingly. Behave in the way that your clients and your customers see you. So I want you to go talk to the 80 to 90% of the happy customers. I don't know how to do show of hands here, but just type me into the chat if you say the idea of picking up the phone and calling the 80 to 90% of the people creates anxiety for you. Open and honest. Nobody knows you here. Okay. Thank you for that, Reverend. I know you're not alone. Anybody else have anxiety thinking about that? Some, not fully. Okay, Amber. Good. I like that. Right? Jay Sarlo, thank you. Right? So we have this. It's an underlying thing. I teach this work and I get days, if I'm going to be open and honest with you. There are days that I wake up and I'm like, oh, I have to make phone calls today. I get a little pit in my stomach sometimes. But I know that on the other end of that phone is somebody who's going to appreciate that phone call. And so what we're trying to do is get you to change this mindset, change the mindset of your people, of the people in your organization that are talking to your customers and clients, your customer service representatives, your delivery people, your salespeople, because everybody in your organization is selling for you at some point in time and communicating with your customers and clients. And so what happens when you regularly and systematically hear this kind of feedback? At Outgrow, we have something that we call COPE. You start to gain confidence. You start to believe, like, I can do this. I can pick up that phone and call, and nothing's going to come through that phone and bite me. They might say, I'm too busy. I can't talk right now. You might get a voicemail and you might get someone's voicemail, just leave them a message, right? But you start to gain confidence because it's not as bad as we think. You start to gain optimism and think differently about how you approach things, about how you look at what you're doing. You're optimistic that, hey, I'm going to get somebody on the phone one of these days and they're going to buy something more from me. You start to drive positivity, both for yourself and your team. Everybody starts to look at that and say, we're getting more positive. We can do this. We can sell more, right? And it starts to create enthusiasm in the organization. When you start to do this work, when you're doing regular and systematic work with your clients and you're hearing this kind of feedback, you develop confidence, optimism, positivity, and enthusiasm. And it's really hard to beat that back and not sell more. What we say is that hope eliminates the fear and inoculates you against that fear. It becomes the vaccine for fear. I'm going to talk to you in a minute about how we do this, right? Because it's really critically important to understand. He can say all these things that he's just said about we're fearful of rejection. We're only talking to 10 to 20% of our customers and clients. But at the end of the day, what is it that we do? How do we go about doing that, right? So when the fear goes away, you do start to get your people to systematically communicate when nothing's wrong. And that last sentence, when nothing is wrong, is so critically important because that's when we want you to pick up the phone and call. I don't want you to sit back and wait. I want you to pick up the phone, talk to your customers when nothing's wrong. And I'm going to share a script with you in a few minutes about what does that look like? What does that phone call look like? What do I say to them? I don't know what to say when nothing's wrong, when the delivery didn't show up on time. Why am I calling them? And it's really critically important that you think about that and say, like a friend, like family. When you call them, just how's it going in your life? In Outgrow, we are simply swinging the bat. Alex has been doing this work, like I said, for over 20, 22 years, working with over 400 companies. And he's worked from companies of all sizes. Today, he works with billion-dollar organizations who are doing this exact work. And what he says all the time is, we got to take swings at the bat. We have to swing at the bat. We've got to just pick up the phone and call. Because as we said earlier, we know that you cannot communicate more and sell less. It's against the laws of physics. It's not possible. And so we've got to make sure that we're picking up the phone and swinging the bat because we know those batting averages. And I want to walk you through those batting averages. And I want each of you to take a minute and really like absorb this slide and listen to what I'm about to share with you because I think there's some really incredible statistics. Alex has millions and millions, millions of points of data that he's tracked over the last 20 plus years. And all of the companies that he's worked with, as well as all of the Outgrow advisors that work with him. And we know that this data is not theoretical, but this data is actual factual data. So one of the things I think is the most amazing is that when you leave somebody a voicemail on their cell phone and you follow it with a text message, 66% of those messages will get a return. So somebody commented in the chat and said, well, I've had customers respond to a call with an email. That's still a return communication in some way, shape, or form. So imagine that 2 out of 3 voicemails that you follow up with a text message will return your communication. They may call you back, they may text you back, they may send you an email back, but they will return your communication. I want you to look at your email and think about all of the emails that you've sent out. How many of those get returned? Is it still the same kind of statistic? You can test this out. You can try it out and see. You will be amazed at how this works. So when you're working with a prospect, communicating with a prospect, and you're just getting to know them, hey, can I get your cell phone? I want to give you my cell phone number so that you can reach me anytime. I'd love to get your cell phone. So if you need anything, you can just text me back directly, right? And share email, share cell phone numbers. So now you can leave them a voicemail and send them a text. This one is absolutely amazing. The second one is the did you know question. Is there anybody in here that has a handful of 4 or 5 different products or services? Just say me, and I'm actually going to ask that we get you unmuted. I want to ask you a couple of questions. Anyone willing to jump in here? 4 or 5 products or services that you offer in your business. No one? What is that? Matt, far more than that. Matt, can you jump on? Can we unmute you?
Hello.
How are you, Matt?
Doing all right. How are you doing?
All right, thanks for joining us. What industry are you in today, Matt?
We produce plumbing parts for the various industries.
Okay, so manufacturing.
Yeah, manufacturing.
Okay, how many SKUs do you have in the business?
Oh, hundreds.
Hundreds? Okay, so
Yeah.
you have hundreds of different products. And how many of your products, Matt, would you say are like what percentage of your products, or is it like 1 to 5 are your top sellers? Do you have like a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 product that you sell?
No, we're pretty broadly
Okay.
used in the industry, so it's going to be a really big range. I mean, I guess there are a few there. If we're looking at retail, are going to be a smaller number.
Okay. So yeah, so retailer might be a smaller number, but your portfolio is pretty substantial with
Yeah.
hundreds of SKUs and a good diversity amongst all of those SKUs by and large.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So Matt, can you tell me 5 of your products that you sell right now? Like 5 of your top products that are the biggest sellers.
Sure. So we have faucet aerators. So they're going to go in most faucets.
Okay.
Faucet manufacturers are going to use them. Homeowners and plumbers can swap those out for energy
Okay.
saving or performance. On the OEM side, we have flow regulators that are going to help achieve certain flow rates for different applications. We have check
Okay.
valves to prevent backflow. They're going, a lot of these parts you're going to find in your kitchen sinks, your pull down hoses, your showers,
Yep.
your baths.
Okay. Do you have a couple more? So faucet aerators, flow regulators, check valves. What are a couple more that you've got?
Or beyond that, I mean, we do supply and shower and pull down hoses, which I kind of sort of lump together.
Okay.
And then we have specialty housings with swivels, things like that.
Okay. Awesome. I appreciate that. All right. So Matt, when you in your business, are you guys primarily B2B or are you B2C?
I'm B2B.
B2B. Okay. And so
Mhm.
if I can ask you this question, what's
Mhm.
your average sale that when you go to a client or a customer of yours and you sell them a mix of all these products on average, what's a sale look like? What's an average ticket for you?
Um, I can vary fairly wildly. Um, I mean, I would say, 1,200 to $2,000
Okay. Should we go,
in a
well, how about we go,
single purchase.
okay, how about we go 1500 sort of middle of the road there? Does that
Sure.
work for you? Okay.
Hmm.
So I appreciate your help here. You can stay on for another minute and maybe we'll talk a little bit more, but the important thing here is this did you know question. Matt goes to meet one of his customers or clients and he says, "Dear Mr. Client, did you know that we offer faucet aerators and flow regulators? Did you know we offer check valves and supply and pull down hoses? Did you know we offer specialty housings?" That's five different did you know questions. Did you know products that we offer that we could sell you in addition to what you already have? What we know for certain is that did you know question will turn into at least one of those five did you know questions will lead to new business. Not instantaneously, not by the time that Matt hangs up the phone. That's not going to happen. But we know that one of those five will lead to new business, will lead to a new line item, as it says here. So, Matt, how many salespeople are in the business for you?
Uh, I mean, where I'm one.
Where you are one. Okay. Across the
Yeah.
business, though.
I mean, across the business, I mean, we probably have uh, several dozen across the world.
Okay, so you guys are pretty big. Okay, so several dozen across the world. So let's just say we take five of those salespeople and we teach them this did you know exercise and say, let's get each one of those five salespeople to ask five did you know questions a day. That's 25 a day for five salespeople, right? And we
Mhm.
multiply that times 5 days a week, that's 125. That's 500 in a month. That's 6,000 did you know questions a year. If we just get five of your people to ask five did you know questions a day, five salespeople, five did you know questions a day, is 6,000 did you know questions in a year. 6,000 did you know questions in a year is 1,200 will lead to a new line item. And if we multiply that times that average of roughly 1,500, that's additional $1.8 million in revenue. Is that a pretty good year for you guys if you turn $1.8 million in new revenue?
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, when I say it's that simple, it's if we get five of your people to ask five did you know questions, we know 20% of those will add a new line item, right? So that's what we're talking about here is changing the mindset and the vernacular and how we ask the kinds of questions. So Matt, if you ever asked any of your clients, then I'm going to just keep going with you here, right? This reverse did you know question, 80% name an additional product. Are there any other products that you don't manufacture and sell or are there products that you offer that others offer also sell? I imagine somebody else makes faucet aerators. Am I right?
Yeah.
And so have you ever asked one of your clients, geez, what are you getting from my competition that I'm not providing for you right now? That's a reverse did you know question, right? Or what else is it
Yeah.
that you could use that I could provide for you? 80% of your customers or clients will name an additional product,
Hmm.
right? So if you turn that then to say, well, did you know we actually offer those faucet aerators and we offer these other things? And you start combining these questions. And so as you start to pay attention and look at, hey, what am I asking my customers and clients? And am I getting the right kinds of things from them? Matt, I want to thank you for participating. You could certainly stay on off of mute, but you can certainly mute now for now. I may call you back in a few minutes, but thank you. I appreciate your participation. So that reverse did you know question, 80% of your customers and clients will name another product or service. One of the challenges that we have in sales all the time, and this big fear that people have all the time, is pivoting to the sale, asking for the business. We oftentimes leave it with this hanging on at the end of the conversation of like, great, good to see you. I'll call you next week, or maybe I'll shoot you an email. But when we pivot to the sale and say, when can I deliver that for you? Would you like me to put that in that next truck when I deliver that truckload of lumber? Would you like the roof shingles with it at that point in time? 25% will say yes. And imagine a 25% close rate if we just ask the question. If we just pivot to that sale and say, how can I get that delivered to you? When would you like that? When can we schedule that time for me to come deliver that service for you in your office? Pivoting to the sale, 25% will say yes. And if they say, you know what, now's not a good time, that's okay. We pivot to the next conversation. Great. Why don't I follow up with you next Tuesday at 2 o'clock? Does that work for you? I'd love to get you back on the calendar, just follow up and see how things are going. If there's anything else that I can help you with. That simple question will get 75% of the people that you ask that to commit to that next conversation. They're just going to say, sure, yeah, call me next week, call me next Thursday at 2 o'clock. That actually works. Or I'm not available Thursday, but Friday at 1 works. How's that for you? And you will get 75% to schedule that next conversation versus leaving it open about how about I shoot you an email and we'll find a time that works for both of us. If you're already in a communication, ask them that question. We talk about this percentage of business sale, this percentage of business question. What percentage of business am I getting versus you're giving to somebody else? And from that question will lead to 40% of additional product offerings. Somebody will add an additional product 40% of the time. And then we talked about earlier, one of those 3 truths is that referrals are the best way to get new business. And if you're working in a B2B environment like Matt is, and he's working with a bigger company, and he says, geez, is there anybody else inside the organization that I should talk to that I can help the way I've been helping you? Very simple question. Anybody else inside your business that I can help the way I've been helping you? 66% of people will make an internal referral. And if you flip that to outside of the company, all you have to do is ask, and 66% of the people you ask that question to will provide an external referral. So if you haven't already snapped a photo of this, I highly encourage you to take a picture of this. I love that Chuck reached out to Matt in here and just looking at this and said, hey, if you need any help with manufacturing support, we got you. So very cool, Chuck. I love that connection here. Right, that's in the chat, Matt, if you didn't see it. Take a picture of this slide. This is probably one of the most incredible and most important slides. 2 things I want to highlight for you here are, first and foremost, remembering that 2 out of 3 voicemails followed by a text message will communicate back. That is so critically important. Get cell phone numbers from people and have that conversation. Yes, Paul, we're going to share the deck too, for sure. That's going to come back out to you. So we'll get that out. 2 out of 3 voicemails will be followed by a text message. I'm sorry, 2 to 4 voicemails followed by a text message will communicate back with you. I make this an extra slide, and I make this 20% of did you know questions will close, will lead to new business, because those 2 statistics are incredibly, incredibly powerful. And they are not hypothetical statistical numbers. They are millions of points of data that tell us that we know this to be fact. Okay. So is there anybody else who wants to unmute here? Again, just announce yourself here. I want to talk about referrals. I want to see if there's anybody in here that wants to talk about referrals with me. If not, I have a story I can share with you. Somebody that you loved working with that you feel like I have to share this with everybody. Now you have an opportunity to share it with some 35 or 40 people. We sell golf clubs. All right, Danielle, let's hear it. Can we unmute Danielle, please? Great. Hi, Danielle. How are you? I can hear you. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for jumping in here. I appreciate it. So you sell golf clubs. Okay, and you've got a referral story for me. So what industry is it? Is it your industry, people referring to you, or you referring out to somebody?
Well, I might have misunderstood you then. I guess I was hoping that I could get a little insight into the referrals because it's not something we currently do.
Okay.
Something that maybe we'd like to do down the road. We custom fit golf clubs.
You custom fit golf clubs. You guys are in Southington, aren't you?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay. So you guys custom fit golf clubs and you're looking to get more referral business. So how do you get most of your business today?
A lot of it is word of mouth.
Okay.
People gift it
Referrals.
for clubs. They
Okay.
go play golf with their friends, and then boom, they've just told their foursome about their hopefully awesome new golf clubs.
Okay. And so
So
when you're, go ahead, go ahead.
in that sort of way, there almost is like a built-in referral program because
Yeah.
naturally you're gonna most likely tell the other people that you play golf with. But we've never had anything established, an official referral program, but it's something that we might be
Yeah.
interested in.
Yeah. So the simple way to say that, when somebody's there getting fitted for you and they're really happy with you, just ask them, hey, is there anybody you golf with that you think might want some new clubs that we could help fit? I don't know. I actually have been referred to. I just haven't actually gotten there to get my clubs done, right? But somebody I know said you got to go over to Chris Cody and get your clubs. That's the place to go. And so but how do you ask somebody that really loves the work that you've done for them? You've had an impact on their game. They're really happy with their game. Have you all just considered saying, is there anybody that you golf with that you think would love to come in here and get a free fitting? I don't
That
know if you do free
sounds
fitting, but
simple enough.
I'm assuming it's a free fitting of some description or something, right? But
Yes.
how you all say that, just every customer that comes in there, and if you know that they're happy, if you're following up with them a week, 2, 3, 4 weeks after they've gotten their new clubs and they've gone out a couple of times, pick up the phone and call them and just say, hey, Ralph, how was it? I know you were going out golfing a couple of weeks ago. How did they feel? Anything we need to adjust, anything we can do? Super happy customer. Hey, is there anybody that you golfed with recently that you think we should talk to that might be interested in learning more? Can I get their phone number from you?
Okay.
That simple, right? It's just that simple of just asking the question, because people, the reason I love this picture is people, when they get together, they want to share the things that they love with other people. They want to tell other people about it. My story is that I hired a health coach a year ago. I loved the experience so much. I lost 30 pounds. I've never felt better in my entire life. Sounds a little Tony Robbins, but it's 100% true. I've never felt better in my life. And so people see that on me. They see that I've lost weight. They see that I have more energy, and they say, what did you do? And Bridget, who is here in Southington as well, has said like she had to go hire somebody else because I referred so many people to her. I told so many people about my experience and how great it was. And you all have an incredible reputation, as do I'm sure many of the people here, right? Diane wants her information. Sure thing, Diane. Right. And so many of the people here have great businesses and great customers who are 80 to 90% of them are happy with you. You've just got to ask them if they know anybody else. That's
Okay.
it. It's that simple. Does that help?
It does. It's like way more simple than I would have even thought. So thank you.
Yeah. This everything I'm teaching you is very simple to do. It's just you got to go do it, right? So thanks for jumping in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So the call mechanics, when you pick up the phone and call somebody when nothing's wrong. Hey, Danielle, I was thinking about you. How's your family? What's new? Because you have some level of a relationship with them, right? You have some level of relationship with them. And so, hey, what's going on in your world? How's the family? How was that vacation? Make sure you take a note about what's going on in their life and you can communicate with them. Be personal, right? And so then you shift to the business. What are you working on these days that I can help you with? What's going on in your world? How are things in the business? What can I help you with? And that's a reverse, did you know? What do you need help with today? What's going on that I can help you with? Oh, did you know we also sell those faucet aerators and those flow regulators? And what's happening? What do you got going on that we're not working on? What products or services are you getting today that we're not selling to you? Oh, did you know we also sell those too? And then you simply pivot to the sale or the next commitment or the next conversation. When would you like that delivered? When would you like us to come out and do that service for you? Oh, okay, that doesn't work. Should we talk again next week? This is literally the call mechanics. This is the simplicity of everything that we do and everything we talk about. It's that simple to have that kind of a conversation. The fear that we all hold on to is that there's so much going on and that people don't want to talk to us. And what am I going to say? And I'm going to say the wrong thing. If you approach the work that you do today to sell more to your current customers and clients when nothing is wrong, as a conversation you're having with them, it's a conversation of curiosity. You're going to have a nice, easy flowing conversation, and you're going to have this realization that's a lot simpler than I thought it would be, as Danielle just talked about. And you're gonna be able to say, wow, I have more confidence, optimism, positivity, and enthusiasm to do this work. And what happens when you do this work, when you pick up the phone and call more, when you take those swings at the bat, when you ask more did you know questions and reverse did you know questions, what starts to happen in your business is that you start to see sales increase. Your sales start to go up, right? This is where a company that Alex actually worked with, they started their project. They started doing Outgrow here in about November of 2020. And look at what happened to their sales. These are sales that happened to them and sales that they created. Another way to say it was this was reactive selling. They were waiting for the phone to ring for 10 to 20% of their customers to call them when nothing was wrong and they were fine. But they started picking up their customers, picking up the phone, calling their customers and clients when nothing was wrong. And look at what happened to the sales. The sales took off. It was proactive selling. And we're trying to get you all to be proactive sellers, to pick up the phone and call when nothing's wrong, right? It creates happy customers and it creates proactive sales. The starting position for every customer is that they want to be helped. So if you pick up the phone and call and say, how can I help you? What's going on in your world? What do you need right now? They might say nothing, and that's okay. If they say nothing, that's okay. When can I call you again? How about I call you again in 2 weeks? Does that work? I'll call back in and check in with you. And that's what we want to do. Outgrow is all about repeated, systematic, lightning fast, proactive communications to your customers and prospects. So I want to make sure I leave some time for some questions at the end here. I want to walk you through how is it that Outgrow clients do this, right? I told you Outgrow, the book Outgrow, is the roadmap to implement Outgrow into your business. Those of you that are familiar with EOS and Traction, it's very similar to the book Traction. Outgrow sits in that sales function of the organization to help you sell more, right? And so this is what our customers and clients do with Outgrow. It's essentially 5 steps in the process, right? This weekly cadence, we call it. So I'm going to walk you through that so you understand that. Number 1, you assign a quantity of target actions. These are the swings at the bat. So you assign to your people a set of target actions for the week. You say, I want you to make 5 proactive calls to people you haven't talked to in 6 months or more. You're very specific about that, right? Or I want you to make 5 proactive calls this week, or 10 proactive calls, or 20 proactive calls. I make 3 phone calls a day. 3 phone calls a day every morning. I make 3 phone calls. That's 15 a week, right? And it doesn't take me more than 12, 15, maybe 20 minutes if I get a couple people on the phone. But that's rare. I'm usually leaving a voicemail and sending a text message. So you assign 5 proactive phone calls to a specific targeted group. And you say, I want you to ask 5 did you know questions. Did you know we also offer this product or this additional service? And I also want you to ask 5 reverse did you know questions. What are you buying from our competitors or from our competition that I can help you with? And you target those actions, and your people go and they do. People go and do. They pick up the phone, they call those people, they ask those kinds of questions, those did you know, reverse did you know questions, and they track the information. So in Outgrow, when we work with our clients, there's a tracking form that we give to them. We build this for their specific company, and we send this to them, and it's very simple. We're tracking their email, their name, we're tracking the type of prospect, etc. Any information they want to share about that one phone call. They're tracking each individual phone call here. And then the second part of it is they're tracking, Diane, the odds of someone answering the call, it's 1 out of 3 sometimes. Sometimes I leave 3 voicemails and text messages. But remember, voicemail plus text message will return your communication. That's the key. They're going to get back to you at some point in time. It's a good question. So what we track here is we track the swings at bats. Remember, we track the proactive calls. Is this an order history call? Is this a proactive call? Is it a post-delivery call? Right? We track all sorts of things here. We track the kinds of information we're getting from sales. We also then, within this, we track whether it was how many did you know questions did you ask? How many reverse did you know questions did you ask? Did you ask for an internal referral, an external referral? That's most important. I don't want to say I don't care about the sales growth amounts, but what I really truly care about and what I want you to walk away from here with is that I want you to walk away with, I want to make sure my people are picking up the phone, calling, and that they are swinging the bat. Did you knows, reverse did you knows, referral requests, that those are the kinds of questions they're asking, because the more of those questions you ask, the more you will sell. This will follow. Every bit of this will follow. That slide I showed you of that company that instituted Outgrow in November of 2020, and then it took off, it was because the swings at the bat that they took. That's the most important thing. And so when we work with our clients, the step 4 is every single week you get really powerful data. You see who's doing what, how many proactive calls they're making, and did you know questions, and how many reverse did you know questions. And we're tracking this data and giving you all sorts of feedback throughout the step every single week. You get monthly leading indicators to know how your revenue is doing in relation to the actions that are taken. The increase in the actions, the black line is the actions, will show the increase in the new opportunities, right? The actions, the revenue follows the actions. You can see over here, August 2025, major drop off in the actions, and everything else dropped off as well. And so you continue to get powerful data, monthly types of readouts and reports of how are we doing with our actions and our volume. And you can see that the actions happen, the volume happens, right? The increase of the action goes up, the revenue and the opportunities goes up, the actions go down, and it follows. This is sales and revenue that you can predict around based on the swings at the bat, based on the did you knows, reverse did you knows, the number of proactive phone calls that are being made. You want to dial up your sales and business, pick up the phone and call more people, ask them more questions. You want to slow down because you can't handle it. Matt's overwhelmed with all the orders. I don't think he'd say he wants that to ever happen, right? But he's overwhelmed with all the orders. You can dial that back. You can pull the levers up or down the way you decide as a business. And the last thing we do, which is so critical to create that confidence, optimism, positivity, and enthusiasm, is we recognize and celebrate the wins. And so this is an example of one client that does a weekly newsletter. The weekly newsletter is to celebrate the things that different people are doing and what their proactive activity has done and happened. The stories are the kinds of things that people do to recognize and celebrate their people are really pretty incredible. So you can create the proactive culture in your business that will increase your annual sales revenue by 15 to 30%. And this is growth that you can plan around. You've got to just simply pick up the phone and sell. You can outgrow and outpace your competition. In today's environment, in today's market share, there's this overwhelming fear of nobody wants to buy or sell anything. Nobody's out there to buy. If you communicate more with your customers and clients, you will take market share away from your competition. You've got to just pick up the phone and get each one of your customer and client facing people to pick up the phone and sell. You've got to change the mindset. And such an important component of the work that we do at Outgrow is we are shifting and changing the mindset, changing that mindset culture in that sales cycle for so many businesses is this fear-based, wait for the phone to ring. And we help you change that mindset. That's the most important thing that we do, and then teach you those systems and those processes to pick up the phone and sell. One of Alex's favorite quotes, and I love this, is success consists of going from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. If that doesn't describe what we do in sales every single day, I don't know what it is. We have to go from failure to failure, no to no to no, without losing our enthusiasm. And getting that mindset shift, becoming full of confidence, optimism, positivity, and enthusiasm is what gets you to keep that enthusiasm going and continue to move forward. So I'm going to leave it here and open up for questions. Happy to take them in the chat. If you say, hey, I want to ask a loud question, just tell me that in the chat and we'll have them on the team unmute you. What I will say is if you would like a copy of Outgrow, or if you would like to connect with me directly and learn how you can implement Outgrow into your business, or just have a conversation and answer some questions, just scan this QR code. We're going to send this out to you, but you can scan this QR code now and fill out a short form. I will happily get a copy of the book Outgrow to you free of charge from my gift to you for just being here today. I'll drop that in the mail to you and answer any questions that I can. Is there a way that we can use AI to automate this? Calling is a very time-consuming but effective method of communication. So it's a really good question, Danielle, and AI is certainly something we're looking for today. Outgrow is really all about creating personal relationships with people. The best way you're going to sell is through personal relationships. It does feel incredibly time consuming and will oftentimes be a pushback that you're going to get from salespeople. But at the end of the day, if I say call 3 people a day, it's literally 15 to 20 minutes a day I'm being really generous with the amount of time that it's going to take. More often than not, you're going to get a voicemail. Leave a voicemail, follow up by text if it's a cell phone number. And then if they don't call them again next week and call them again the week after. There's a point at time at which you have to say, they're not returning my phone calls, spread that out. But the thing that's going to happen is you're going to continue to be top of mind for these people so that the next time they're thinking for you, Danielle, hey, I want to order golf clubs, or I want to get fitted for golf clubs and see what that's like for me. Geez, you know what? Danielle's been calling me, and I think I'm probably just going to go over there. It's the only place that's top of mind for me right now, right? And so that's what we're trying to do is create that consistency. Using AI is going to take the personal communication and touch out of it. Do you leave a voicemail at the general number? Many companies do not have a receptionist. So I'd say leave a voicemail if that's the phone number that you have. It sounds to me that you might be talking about a cold call. And so what I'm talking about here, by and large, is not cold calling. This is picking up and talking to customers, clients, and prospects that you've got some level of a relationship with. And so that might be, I met somebody named Joe at an event. I'm going to an event on Friday night, and so I'm sure I'll meet somebody there. Geez, I'd love to talk to you more. And I just call Joe back and leave him a voicemail. And so if you're talking there about voicemails to general numbers, that is more of a cold call. Certainly start there. And eventually you want to try and get a personal connection with somebody that you can then pick up the phone and call and start to develop that personal relationship with. Okay. Danielle, did I answer that question? And Ishim, did I answer that question for you, or do you want to go to another level? And certainly happy to take any other questions. I know we've got about 7 minutes left. Any other questions? Maybe I can use AI to come up with a list of the types of questions you would ask. Is that what you're talking about there, Danielle? Can we unmute Danielle? You're there for the customers to call.
Can you hear
Hey,
me?
Danielle. Yeah, I can hear you. So say a little bit more about that for me, would you?
Yeah, I mean, we fit during the busy season probably 30 people a day, and it would be really hard for us to keep up with that. But we
Mhm.
have a slow season, and it's right now.
Yeah.
So while I'm picturing this to not really be as, you know, a quick follow-up, maybe a week after the customer gets their clubs, maybe it's, later in the season like now,
Oh, yeah.
but I would need a way to somehow reference back those customers. So maybe
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
there's a couple ways that I'm thinking about doing it, but like who are the customers that spent the most with us this spring? Who fit them? Like I'm just trying to process how I would come up with
How
my
would you do that?
customer list
Sure.
and how I
Yeah.
prioritize this person over that person.
Yeah, and so I'll say a couple things to that. First is some sort of what you're talking about is some sort of a customer relationship management tool, right? Where you can track that Ralph Riccio came in, he got some clubs from us, he bought these kinds of clubs, he spent this much money, and this is when he bought them, and that you can have a cadence to check in on a regular basis. So that's a customer relationship management tool, right?
Mhm.
And so yes, I think definitely something like that. The other thing I would say is I wouldn't worry necessarily about who spent the most and who spent the least, right? Because I may have bought just one club from you this time, but you don't know when I'm going to be ready to buy a full set of clubs the next time. And so, hey, listen, I know last year you bought that 60 wedge from us, and I don't know if that's a thing, but
It is.
okay. You bought that 60 wedge from us, and I wanted to see how that's working for you. Everything going well with you? Is there any other clubs that you might need that you want to come in and try out, or something we could fit you for this year? Right? And you might ramp that up towards the end of your busy season so that you start stacking up appointments as you go into the not so busy season. And then when
Correct.
you get closer to the busy season, you start to dial that back down, right? And so, so you pick it up and slow it down as you want to, and as it makes the most sense.
I have
Uh,
kind of a follow-up question to that,
yeah.
Ralph. Like, say somebody does come in and gets fit in March. I've often thought, oh, maybe, a couple of weeks after their appointment, sending them an email asking how things are going. Do you think that's still worth it? And then giving them a follow-up later in the year?
I would pick up the phone and call. If
Okay.
it's, do I send them an email or do something else? I'm always going to say pick up the phone and call.
Okay.
Right? I get a lot of leads that come into me via email. I don't respond to them in an email. If there's a phone number available to me, I pick up the phone and call. And sometimes, to the earlier question, sometimes I'm just getting the office number, and that's okay. I call that number. I ask for the person. I will eventually get to their voicemail, right? But like, if it's an option over an email or something else, pick up the phone and call. And I also say the other old-fashioned thing that we don't do anymore is handwriting. Write a handwritten thank you note after every customer comes in and buys it, one club or 10 clubs from you. Handwritten thank you note. Hope you have a good season. We're here to help however you can, right? Write a handwritten note when nothing's wrong in the middle of the season. Hope you're having a great golfing season, and leave it at that.
Okay.
It's creating personal touches and relationships with people that have the biggest impact, that keep you top of mind, that every single time that they're thinking golf, they're thinking of you.
Okay.
Okay. So I have
Thank
another great, thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. I have another great question. What type of strategies do you recommend when the sales cycle is long? We are B2B in the regulated medical device industry. I would say it's the same exact thing. You just continue to communicate throughout the entire cycle, so you continue to be top of mind. I did a talk similar to this with somebody who is in a long sales cycle, very similar to that, not the same space, but a long sales cycle. And it was a longer talk. I took a break and I said, go out and make some phone calls. I spent more time teaching them the mechanics a little bit. And I said, go out and make a phone call. And the gentleman came back in and he just looked at me kind of dazed and confused and said, I just closed a $30,000 deal. And I said, well, that's great. Congratulations. He said, I didn't expect that. And I said, well, what happened? He said, well, we haven't talked in 6 months. We have a really long sales cycle. And so we figured we'd talk to him sort of at the end of the cycle when we knew that they would need it. But he committed today because I picked up the phone and called him. And so even in those long sales cycles, you just get into a cadence and say, hey, what's going on? When nothing's wrong, how's your life? What's going on in your world today? Is there anything I can help you with? And you're staying continuous top of mind for them, because you never know what new project they may be working on in that time period that you haven't spoken to them. And they may have a new project, a new device, or new something that comes in that they're like, oh wait, yeah, you're the right person for us. I'm glad you called me when you did. I had somebody call, like, that I talked to recently. I haven't talked to him in a year, and I picked up the phone, I called him. He's like, thank you for calling me. I really appreciate that. People just, they want that, they crave that, and you will be top of mind. It's 1:59 now. Please reach out to me. I want to respect everybody's time. Please reach out to me, get in touch. We will get this deck out to you in a PDF format, but I'm happy to have any conversations with anybody that I can help a little bit more, answer some questions for you. Go do great work for your customers and clients. I really, really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure to be here with you all today. Thank you.